Welcome back to the House of Wisdom. In our last episode, we endured the darkest hour of the Muslim campaign in Syria. We stood in the merciless, inescapable storm of Roman arrows on the day of lost eyes. We witnessed the Muslim lines buckle under the sheer weight of imperial steel, and we saw the breathtaking sacrifice of Ikrimah bin Abi Jahl, the son of the Pharaoh of Islam, who snapped his sword scabbard and led 400 martyrs into a suicidal charge to halt the Roman juggernaut. And amidst the absolute chaos of the collapsing front, we saw Khalid bin Al-Waleed risk everything to recover a simple red cap holding the hair of the Prophet, before plunging back into the slaughter to hold the line just as it was about to snap. The Muslims survived the fourth day, but survival came at a horrific cost. As the sun rises on the fifth day of battle, the plain of Yarmuk is a tapestry of carnage. The early morning light reveals the two massive armies forming up on their respective lines, occupying the exact same positions they had taken before the start of the battle. But today, the soldiers do not stand so erect. They do not look so imposing. Next to almost every unwounded man stands a bleeding comrade. Some can barely hold their shields, but through sheer force of will, they stand. Khalid bin Al-Waleed sits motionless upon his war horse, his keen eyes scanning the Roman front. He is watching for the slightest shift in formation, anticipating another brutal frontal assault. He waits for the Roman heavy infantry to advance. He waits for the deadly hail of arrows. But an hour passes, then two. The Roman war machine does not move. Instead, a lone figure emerges from the center of the Roman lines. It is an emissary from Mahan, the imperial commander-in-chief. He rides slowly across the blood-soaked no-man's land and approaches the Muslim commanders. He brings a formal proposal to Abu Ubaidah. The Roman command requests a truce for the next few days so that fresh negotiations can be held to find a peaceful settlement to the conflict. Mahan is playing a psychological game. He knows his army has suffered staggering losses and that the Muslim resilience has deeply shaken Roman morale. He needs a pause to reorganize, to treat his wounded, and to restore the fighting spirit of his legions. Abu Ubaidah, the gentle, trusted one of the Ummah, listens to the proposal. His heart is always inclined toward peace, and seeing the battered, blinded state of his own men, he seriously considers accepting the truce. A pause would give the Muslims time to breathe. But Khalid bin Al-Waleed is a predator, and a predator knows when its prey is wounded. He instantly steps between the emissary and Abu Ubaidah. He argues vehemently against the truce. To Khalid, a request for peace in the middle of a battle means the Roman offensive spirit is broken. It means they have thrown their worst at the Muslims, failed to break them, and now are terrified of what comes next.
On Khalid's absolute insistence, Abu Ubaidah yields to his tactical judgment. He sends the Roman envoy back with a negative reply, adding a chilling message. "We are in a hurry to finish this business." I want you to pause and evaluate this command decision. You are leading a battered, exhausted, and blinded army. The enemy offers you a few days of peace and rest. Do you accept the truce to heal your men, or do you read it as a sign of enemy weakness and press your advantage, risking total annihilation if you are wrong? Tell me your strategic choice in the comments below. The Roman envoy returns to Mahan. The refusal strikes the Roman high command like a physical blow. There will be no rest. The 5th day passes in a tense, anxious stalemate. There are no major engagements, only minor skirmishes, as both sides stare at each other across the corpses of the fallen. But in the Muslim camp, Khalid's mind is racing. He knows that his army cannot survive an indefinite war of attrition. He knows that the Roman infantry is too heavily armored to be broken by a frontal assault from his lighter troops. If he wants to win, he cannot fight the Romans on their terms. He must dismantle their army, piece by piece. And as he analyzes the Roman formation, he identifies the linchpin of their power, the Roman heavy cavalry. The Roman cavalry provides the mobility and the shock power that protects the flanks of the massive infantry blocks. Khalid realizes that if he can somehow strip the Roman cavalry away from the battlefield, the Roman infantry will be left stranded, a massive, immobile beast with no protection. The sun sets on the 5th day. Khalid issues his orders for the morrow. He is no longer fighting a defensive war. The time of holding the line is over. Dawn breaks on the 6th day of Yarmuk. It is the day the sword of Allah falls upon the empire. Khalid launches a brilliant, multi-phased offensive. He takes his elite mobile guard and combines it with the cavalry regiments from the other corps. He masses a total of 8,000 battle-hardened horsemen into a single, colossal wedge of cavalry. This is not a line meant to engage. This is a spearhead meant to penetrate. The Roman left wing, commanded by Conator and composed heavily of Armenians and Slavs, braces for the impact. Amr bin al-As moves his Muslim right-wing corps forward, swinging it to the left to strike the exposed flank of the Armenians. Simultaneously, Shurabil attacks the front of the Armenian formation. The Roman left wing begins to crumble under the sheer violence of this coordinated infantry assault. But this is merely the setup for the masterstroke.
While Amr and Shurhabil grind down the Roman infantry, Khalid unleashes his massive cavalry wedge. He does not charge directly into the Roman foot soldiers. Instead, he executes a maneuver of breathtaking precision, tactical segregation. He drives his 8,000 horsemen completely through the Roman lines, violently inserting his cavalry between the Roman heavy cavalry and their infantry support. The Roman cavalry is suddenly cut off. They are separated from the infantry they are supposed to protect. Before the Roman horsemen can reorganize to meet this threat, Khalid strikes them with the full concentrated fury of his 8,000 riders. The clash of cavalry against cavalry is deafening, but the Roman knights have already lost their nerve. They had been severely mauled in the previous days, and now, facing a concentrated, fanatical charge from the greatest cavalry commander of the age, their discipline shatters. Having gotten a severe mauling from Khalid, the Roman cavalry breaks formation. They turn their horses, abandon the battlefield, and gallop away to the north, seeking safety. They have had enough of battle. This maneuver of tactical segregation is one of the most difficult and dangerous feats in ancient warfare. Khalid effectively sliced an enemy army in half while in the middle of active combat. Hit the like button if you appreciate the sheer genius of using cavalry not just to kill, but to physically dismantle an enemy's combined arms capability. With the Roman cavalry driven from the field, a terrifying reality dawns upon the imperial infantry. Over 100,000 Roman foot soldiers, heavily armored and tightly packed, are now completely abandoned on the plain. They have no cavalry to scout for them. They have no cavalry to protect their flanks. They are blind, slow, and entirely surrounded by highly mobile, highly aggressive Arab warriors. Khalid pulls his cavalry back from the pursuit. He looks at the massive, abandoned squares of Roman infantry. The chessboard has been cleared of the enemy's knights. Now only the pawns remain, and Khalid knows exactly what to do with them. He signals for a general advance. He is not going to just defeat this army. He is going to herd them. He is going to compress them from the front and the right flank, pushing them slowly, methodically toward the west, toward the terrifying 1,000-foot precipice of the Wadi-ur-Raqqad. Next time, on the House of Wisdom, we witness the absolute annihilation of the imperial army of Caesar. We will see the trap snap shut at the edge of the abyss, and the day the rivers of Syria run with the blood of an empire. Subscribe to the channel and join our community so you do not miss part 5 of the Battle of Yarmuk, the Edge of the Abyss.